Let me at him!
Well, there it is. Here we are, a second time, but you wouldn't know it unless you're in the Twitch chat room right now. I'm repeating this replay simply because I screwed out the first time. I was commentating all happily away and then I realised that the screen was flickering. Yeah, that's not a good thing. And it was only doing that because of the way that my OBS records, and I was doing it incorrectly. But this time, we're doing it correctly because I'm watching that, I'm looking at it, and it looks good to me. There's no flickering right whatsoever. So here we go. Let's go through with this replay once more. So we've got Huntress Shaped playing as the pink Night Elf at the top left position on Tyrannus Stand, the map. And he's fighting up against Machine, the orange undead, at the bottom right position. So I got a little bit of an inclination as to what's going to be happening, because I managed to get 4 minutes of the way through the video before I noticed the flickering. But I will still treat this video the same way as I have done before, as I was commentating. So Huntress Shaped, as far as I understand it, is rank 2 currently on War 3 Arena. He is otherwise known as WarcraftRich, who is a British Warcraft 3 player on a professional level, I guess I would say, since I believe he does enter competitions when they are available and tries to make money from them. So I guess that kind of makes him a professional player. And he's up against Machine, of whom I do not know that much about. And I do not see any advice as to who he is, so I guess he will just be known as the Terminator from this point on. He is unknown until he comes into your face at Molten Factory and tries to burn you alive and maybe get you stamped by one of those huge machines that stamp you down. You know the ones. We've all seen the Star Wars episode. The second one. You know, the newer ones. Where that... What's her name? Princess Padme or something like that. She gets stuck on that elevator belt and she's all like, oh shit. Looks like I'm going to get crushed here unless I've got the most realistic... Well, unrealistic... micro/reaction skills possible to avoid getting crushed by this elevator belt of death. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to go watch it. But anyway, WarchiefRich is using his archer there with a little bit of lightning shield trickery. Tricks the wizard into casting lightning shield with the 2 wisps and the archer nearby. It causes the wizard to then use his lightning shield ability, since that's just the way it works. And he's making sure that the lightning shield does not get the last hit on any of these creeps, because if lightning shield has been cast by an enemy player or an enemy merc creep camp, you do not want lightning shield getting a last hit, because you will not get the experience. And the same goes for your Ancient of War. A lot of this will sound very familiar to people, but I just have to basically cast it the way I was before, which is how I'm doing it. We can see Sobi Mask being picked up for WarchiefRich, who's just cleared that creep camp, so he's opened up his expansion, potentially, and he's moving up to the next creep camp, which looks like another Renegade Wizard. It's going to be very nice for him with his Sobi Mask, a very strong item to start this game off with. Right here, starting off with the Shadow Strike as well on the Renegade Wizard. Halfway through to level 2. If he can reach level 3, that'd be really nice. Meanwhile, we can see that Machine is creeping away with just a few ghouls, skeleton rods here and there. A little bit slower, but he's getting through it, and maybe he'll get himself a nice item. Looks like WarchiefRich is just picking off... Well, he's picked up a Circle of Nobility and he's now trying to deal with the rest of this creep camp, but it's a little bit tricky because he's actually forcing his archer to tank here, and the archers do not tank very well with medium armor versus melee damage. So he's actually going to have to split up his DPS. He manages to pick down one of the rogues, but will not be able to pick off this rogue without having to run away, because he will lose his hero or his archer or both if he continues in that fight. That rogue is a badass. Do not mess with him unless you get healed up. Dropping the Circle of Nobility, soaking up the Moonwell juice. He's feeling good about himself to go and take care of the rogue once more. We can see he's building a Tree of Life right now, his expansion. He's got an Ancient of War building at the mercenary camp on the enemy's side. So he's really trying to venture out here with his own Ancient of War, slowly making his way over to a mercenary camp on his side. However, what he doesn't know right now is that Machine is coming in for an all-in attack. He's got roughly about 8 to 9 ghouls and a couple of acolytes, and on top of that he's got the Sacrificial Skull, which he's placed down, which allows the undead to place down buildings, and he's going for an all-in attack here, which is really strong right now because his opponent is getting an expansion. He's got an Ancient of War halfway across the map. His other Ancient of War is again very far away, and all he really has right now is a half health Warden, but this Warden is level 3, and her main focus right now is to make sure that cigarettes do not go up, and she's got to try to duck and dodge in amongst all of these ghouls without getting surrounded or focused too heavily. She's using hide right now just to try to take focus off, dropping the Circlet of Nobility, running around, In and out, in and out. And we've got a moonwell being built at the back. Another one at the back. Once again. Oh, just about cancelling that, I imagine, at this time. Archer being taken down. This does seem very familiar, I must admit. If I have casted this before, I do apologise. But obviously I'll find out afterwards. I may as well continue with the replay cast whilst I'm going through with it. But I do feel like I have done this before. And if I haven't shoutcasted this before, then what the hell am I doing? But anyway, we've got some heavy focus going down on Machines Death Knight right now. The Warden picking it off. A very strong start. Most Night Elf players, when they deal with this rush, as far as I can tell, do seem to ignore the ghouls and they go for the Death Knight, which seems to be a somewhat favourable situation right now. Just trying to pick up any potential experience. Getting level 4 would be nice. Level 2 blink means 10 mana blinks away, but all of these moonwells being picked off, so there's going to be not many units coming out. He's going to need to get some more moonwells spread out across the map so that when he does actually manage to get his tech completed, he can get a second hero. But the gold mine is being focused down by Machine right now. Even the Acolytes are coming in for a hit right now. And it does look very tricky right now to try and keep that up. Wisps are ducking in and out, just trying to get whatever repairs off they can do. But the ghouls are slowly winning this. Warden coming back in now to try and venture off these ghouls. Can she do a good enough job of it? That gold mine is about to go down very shortly. Wisps just still keeping it alive ever so slightly. Tree of Life actually cancelled his tech upgrade, so no second hero by the looks of it. I'm surprised at that. Just to get a couple of extra hits on the ghouls. I'm not sure if that was entirely worth it, because he could always pick up a panda from the middle if he was able to actually secure a moonwell, which he actually secured moonwell. So he's at 16 out of 30 food right now. Machine is at 34 out of 40 food. Death Knight coming back. He hasn't picked up another sacrificial skull or anything else like that. So the blight has actually been dispelled by a wisp, which is something wisps can do. If an undead does place a sacrificial skull in your base, you can use a wisp to detonate on that area and remove the blight. Lovely drops of the Circuit of Nobility, just soaking up the moon juice, getting the most bang for your buck. Down goes one of the Ancients of War. A Shredder being picked up here, which is actually a pretty good unit, because it is essentially a unit at this point, and it looks like, well, WarcraftRich could use any unit possible right now at this point, just to try to give himself a chance to get back into the game. He has actually secured this expansion, so even if he's not getting gold from his main, he's getting it from his expansion. Hit runs without getting surrounded right now by these ghouls is his main optimal prime. He's going for guerrilla tactics right now. He's even got the Zeppelin, so he's going to be using some real micro right now to try to make sure that he can keep as much damage off his Warden and his Shredder as possible, whilst doing some decent damage as well. Lots of ghouls being stacked up in the Machine's crypt. Going for a second crypt right now, because obviously stacking lots of ghouls in one crypt is not too advantageous. We have got a shop here for Rich, so that means more clarity potions, which possibly means more mana for more shadow wards, shadow strikes rather. Lovely drop micro going on here. Every time you drop down, that unit can then use its attack animation and can then be picked up once more, instead of having to sit there waiting for the second attack animation. So you get instant attacks by using the Zeppelin micro. It's very worthwhile trying out, I must admit. It's very, very, very good if you can pull it off. We've got the shop here. Is WarcraftRich going to buy any potions? Maybe a potion of mana. Right now he hasn't got all that much else to spend his cash on. Is he going to pick anything else up? Oh, not sure if he did in the time there. He's still just trying to do any little bit of damage he can to these ghouls. Wisps going off, trying to dispel whatever skeletons are left. Ghouls in a lot of trouble right now. Warden at level 4.5, stepping up to level 5. Meanwhile, Machine is still at level 2.5 with his Death Knight, looking too confident, because he's losing these ghouls left, right and centre, and all of these hits, these hard-hitting hits with the Shredder and the Warden right now are tearing his little ghoul army to pieces. Meanwhile, his ghouls can't hit very hard, and they certainly can't secure a surround at this point, so it's looking very, very nasty right now. Are we going to see a shadow strike on the Death Knight in a moment? We can see that there's only 2 wisps on this gold mine. He's been focusing so much on that micro that he's actually lost his macro a little bit. This is almost like watching me, except obviously he's slightly better, I would imagine, because he's able to pull this off and I can't quite do this. That was lovely. I love that little long-range shadow strike there on the ghoul. More experience for the Warden, always looking good. Machine should pretty much back off at this point. He has all-in, so I understand him coming in here. The Ancients of War are a nice touch because they just make it a lot more tricky for ghouls to just try to have dominance over this base. Yeah, they can try to surround it, but they're taking damage whilst they're getting this, and there's more experience to the Warden, as you can see. So even if he brings down this Ancient of War, more experience to that Warden, almost level 5, and once she hits level 5, she's going to be an absolute beast, and you do not want to be messing with a beast. I assume that the Shredder did manage to get picked off, or... No, it didn't actually. It's currently getting wood, because I don't remember seeing the Shredder get picked off, but I was like, oh, where's the Shredder gone? Loads more ghouls coming in. Those double crypts really pumping them out now, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Have we got a sapper? We've even got some sapper play coming in here from Hunter Shaped. WarchiefRich. I keep calling him Warcraft Rich. That's very true, Feasim. Thank you very much. I think I did that in a previous replay, so if this replay has been casted before, I bet you can catch me saying that. But anyway, I want to see what the sapper gets up to. Where has he gone? Is he just going for like a snipe on enemy? Where the fuck did he go? Seriously, I would imagine he's like maybe heading towards the undead base, but I can't actually see him anywhere on the minimap. Anyway, WarchiefRich, did he blow up? Come on now, work with me here. I can't see him. I'm upset now. I'm getting all lost in the motions. This is an all-in that's going all in beyond all means. Look at this machine. He's actually got quite a decent number of ghouls, despite losing so many from previously before. And we've got the Warden dropping down, still trying to get the most bang for a buck. Lots of golden wood right now for WarchiefRich. Is it WarchiefRich? It is. There we go. So, here we are. Tree of Life, just barely staying alive here. Ah, but that Death Knight ain't got much life left in him either. So the Warden's got another Shadow Strike, which it looks like she's going in there for. Yes! Secured on the Death Knight before being picked off. Up into the Zeppelin. Will that Death Knight be able to shrug off the Shadow Strike? It looks like he will be able to, but he's not going to have much health left. So will the Warden be able to chase him down with the Zeppelin? I don't know. Lots of Moonwells coming up. Ancient of Wonders, double Ancient of Wonders right now. Screw the Ancients of War. And a tech almost complete right now. It looks like, oh, is this really worth it? Machine hanging around on the outside, trying to dominate more with these ghouls. His base is still looking quite comfortable right now. More ghouls, actually supply capped right now. And more micro coming in from the Zeppelins here with the Warden. Lovely job. Is there going to be another... Oh, the double Shredders can really do some decent damage here. If he cancels building Wisps, not that he necessarily wants to, he's going to get extra DPS out of that Tree of Ages. The Ancient of Wonders can do a little bit more DPS, but not all that much, and it ain't going to last very long. But it is more potions, as you can see. Right now, Potion of Healing being picked up for the Warden alongside the Moonwells gives her more flexibility. And she's getting surrounded right now by ghouls, but at level 5, she's very powerful. If you see Avatar of Vengeance, you're going to see some real dominance. Acolyte just sitting back there like, I don't want to go into this. We've got WarchiefRich just struggling to stay alive, but he's still doing a great job. Mixed amongst all of these Moonwells with a couple of Shredders to boot, those ghouls are looking like they ain't going to have much life left in them anymore. Did the Death Knight get taken down? Did I miss that? I apologise. So much has been going on in this game, I must have missed the Death Knight going down. And I really want to know what happened to that frickin' Shredder. Or that Sapper. Looks like Machine's getting a little bit pissy because all of these ghouls have been pushed back and they are now returning to base. Death Knight has been respawned in a moment. Well, halfway through. But the Warden is now level 6, which is the critical point. Because, let's face it, once you get level 6 with a Warden, you've basically won. Especially when the enemy Death Knight is still like level 2. Which, it's level 3! Which doesn't really make all that much difference, to be honest. Level 2, level 3 versus level 6 Warden. I don't fancy your chances all that much. So all she needs really is a bunch of Moonwells, some Clarity Potions with Ancient of Wonders, going around sniping off Fiends or Death Knights left, right and centre, re-expanding at his main, so loads of cash. He's even got the Tree of Ages at his expansion, so he can get access to a second hero or higher tech levels, so you might be able to... Oh, he respect instead to Fock. Fan of Knives, which seems to be a nice touch because there's still a lot of ghouls left to kill, and I imagine these Acolytes are going to go down in a moment. There's not another Fock. We want to see more mana on this Warden. We want this more Warden with more mana, but either way, this is not looking very pretty right now for Machine. Because that is one hero dominating an entire army, because essentially that army is just not prepared to deal with what the Warden can dish out, especially once she does soak up some more moon juice, aka get more mana in there. So what's his tech buildings going to be? Are we going to see it, or is he just not worried about it? He just doesn't even care. Is he going for a second hero? No, I haven't seen one yet. It's just still so much focus on the Warden. 15% bonus experience right now with the Tree of Ages for the Warden. So there's that, I suppose, maybe why he's not getting the second hero, but he can afford it. But but he's still not committing to it. Not yet. Not at this point. Maybe he just wants to do it with the Warden. And there we go. Warden with 360 mana right now out of 450. Looking very comfortable indeed. Especially once Machine comes in for his last final push. In a desperate attempt to try to take care of this Warden. Fock doing a decent blow-in damage. Damage blow. Whatever you freaking want to call it. I don't know what I was calling it there. But a couple more Focks down the line. There's not going to be many ghouls left, that's for sure. Even the Death Knight's going to take a bit of a pounding here from the Fox. Shredder's getting a few hits in it. We've got 3 Shredder actions going on now. Is the Zeppelin going to be able to pick up that Shredder? No, he's just going to run away. He's quite comfortable. More Fox going down. So there's no focus whatsoever on Avatar of the Vengeance. For what I can see, it's level 3 Fock and probably level 3 Blink at this point. Shredder's just doing loads of damage all over the shop, and maybe another Fock to boot before Machine gets out of the game. Jesus, that is pretty crazy stuff. 65 units killed for Huntress Shade versus 17. A level 6 Warden versus level 3 Death Knight. Yikes. And more gold, despite having the gold mine trashed because of that expansion cleared earlier on with the Ancient of War. Very nice touch there from Huntress Shaped, basically showing why he dominates on the ladder. Alright then guys, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, subscribe, like and comment, and make sure to post more replays like this. I've got to go now check whether I've casted this replay before. But either way, I had fun casting it again if that was the case, because it does seem very, very familiar. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. I'll see you later.